Okay, so when I was gonna start, it was 3:33. When I was talking start with my hair thing, because so yesterday or last night it just felt itchy, and so I thought I'm just gonna do a rinse on it today, and so I had my spray that I made with the see cloves, rosemary, cinnamon, and I took whole cloves, whole cinnamon sticks, and a bunch of rosemary leaves, then put it in water and let it boil and boil and boil. And then once you get the water, and then um, with that, I added in, I think I put a little bit of the apple cider vinegar and some essential oils. And so I sprayed that on my hair. It wasn't like so drippy wet, but it was wet. And then I just rinsed it out right away. And then I just dried it off and went to bed. And so then this morning I got, it's not all the way dry or whatever, but oh my gosh, it is like, this is like so new trying to like learn all this stuff about the hair. And it's, it's definitely retraining yourself because you will definitely, well, I can't imagine doing this and not feeling like your hair is dirty, not having that to constantly be, my hair's dirty. I got to go wash my hair. I got to go strip out my hair. I got to go get all this stuff off my hair. Just as always this, especially and at times when it comes out, like, I don't know. What I'm waiting to see is once my hair is really just totally coated all the way to the bottom where it doesn't dry out, if it keeps the secretion stuff keeps coming out, or if it just does it when your hair is dry and when it senses like dryness in your hair, so it senses, so it puts it out to protect it. And then we got so many environmental things. I just saw a thing and is about something that they spray on the food, especially in California and Florida, on like this way we're talking about strawberries, and it's something, it starts with an A. I can't think of what it is, but it's some chemical. And when they spray, it stays in the ground. So everything keeps growing, is growing with that as a part of it. And this chemical is doing something like they're in the area, in the local area, it's turning frogs to the other gender. It's making boy frogs turn into girl frogs, where the point where they can even lay eggs. And it's turning them all gay, like boy frogs are with boy frogs, but the boy frogs are now having eggs and stuff. Like, it's this whole weird whacked out thing. And so the this lab that's doing these studies said that the amount that these frogs get of this stuff is like a third of the amount of what is allowed for us to get, that they put it directly into our water. This stuff goes directly into our water. And so it's more of the experiments. It's always an experiment. And this Burning Man thing gets weird. It is so weird. So yesterday when I was on there, it was just floods of videos talking about all this stuff happening. There was it was a whole bunch of different things. There's people who had footage. There's people who had like supposedly texts and stuff. Who knows if this shit is made up? It is so weird. So I didn't know that Burning Man was such a pagan ritual. Like, when you go through all this stuff, it's like this pagan ritual. It has the people who run it are way up there at the top. It's even in a place called Black Rock, and it is it's like 72 or 73,000. I've even heard 78,000. That many people. That is a lot of people. Like, that is a lot of people. Like, I wonder how much some of those stadiums hold. Like, if we got an idea of how many people that really is. And because like in this town where I'm at, I bet you it's more like 10,000, and I don't know what's going on at anybody's house. I don't know what's going on next door. I don't know what's going on. How do we know what's happening with anybody else? And so Another weird thing too is how it's set up, how it's mapped out, how the place is set up. It's set like you know, like it's done on purpose for a certain shape. Like they're doing weird shit. And it seems like that it's all divided into a whole bunch of different camps. And then I guess you have to buy tickets or something, and it can make a difference over what camp you're in. So I don't know if you pay to be at more fancy camps where like, because there's lots of celebrities, I guess, that go there. Because now it's been this whole thing. Oh, they got Chris Rock out. Oh, they got Ricky Lake out. Okay. Well, aren't we so excited about that? Oh my gosh. You know, have them be above everybody else. Let's make sure and get those ones out. It's like, oh, we're all supposed to jump up and cheer. Oh, thank God. Thank God they got him out. It's like, what the fuck? Who gives a fuck? Roxy, or what is that chick's name? Not Roseanne, no, not Roseanne Barr. She's somebody who she was Madonna's friend way back. She was in that baseball movie. It is like it's a weird because they'll have so many people just hate her, just talk shit on her, and then all of a sudden she's on TikTok and she's going live all the time, and people go in and talk to her. People share her stuff. So I don't know. She's got some fans or something. But there was so much shit talk on her, but I can't think of her name. It seems like it starts with an R. Rosie O'Donnell. That's what it is. Rosie O'Donnell. And she was doing some video, you know, how exciting they got Ricky Lake out. And I think it was live when I saw it. She was talking about it. I was like, oh, who cares? Like, you know, oh no, it wasn't live because I could go in and read the comments. And there was a lot of people who were like, oh, thank God and stuff. It's like, what in the world? So let's just leave those other 73,000 people there trapped in mud. And there's all sorts of weird shit coming out about that. This isn't just normal mud. This isn't just a regular dried up lake bed. This isn't just a regular desert. It is, there's boron or something. All of the dirt is high alkaline, and it sucks the moisture out of you. And so it sucks the moisture out of your feet, out of your legs. Like there's a whole weird thing with that. And there's so much mud and people have it all over them. And it's so strange is because, so all this shit is going down. And so you start seeing all these videos. And so then they start saying that they think there's an Ebola breakout over there. And it was like, I saw so many tweets and stuff. So I don't know if that's where it started. I'm not sure. And when this shit goes down, it's like, you don't know, is it a distraction? Are they starting it just, there's so many possibilities. And so the weird thing is how it was so heavy in this certain kind of video. Like it was just one after another of, you know, Ebola. They're being held there. They're, the FEMA's there. They've got white suits on and they're taking people, all sorts of things. And so then it's like, so that was going on. It seems it must have started early in the morning because I saw people early in the morning. So as soon as the people started getting up and the flood had happened, I guess there was, it's really weird too, even when you hear the people talking about time and stuff. Like I was seeing videos, they were saying September 3rd. Yesterday was September 3rd. They're in the same time zone as I am. And I would see videos and it would be night and they were burning it, but it was still day here. I was like, okay, this is weird. So are they burning? Is this like, well, I don't know. Shit is weird as fuck. And so then there was all these videos of, she's being, some days. Stella, you just came in. You don't need to go back out. You just need to lay down. Please lay down and let me finish doing this. I swear to God, this is it's not even day yet. It's just one fucking day after another, the same shit. I swear, this is really ridiculous. In and out, in and out. I swear, some days it's just like, oh, fuck, another day of this shit. God damn. I swear to God, I don't get it. It's just, if I'm not doing something for her, then she's crying at me. It's like, okay, are you manipulating me or are you miserable? Why aren't you miserable? Then when you're eating, when we're walking, when you're doing all the things you want to do, you're totally fine. But then as soon as you're just laying there, and then I know her hips and her butt get sore, like, I know her legs and stuff. I don't fucking know, like, fuck. I keep giving her all this detox stuff. Like, I don't know if she's got like bone cancer or something. Like, I don't know what her discomfort is. If it's like all of a sudden she realizes it because she's not doing something that she's miserable. This in and out. And this is the third time already this morning. And whatever, it was 3:33 when I started. So, and I got up at 2:38. And then I was just laying in there in my bed. I was just laying there and thinking. I was like, fuck, may as well get up. And then I come out, it was only like 2:38 or something. Like, ugh. Or maybe it was even 2:20. I don't know. It was in the twos, that was for sure. And I was just like, fuck, I'm just going to get up. And so then I try and sit down, just look on my phone, just, nope. She just, once I do something, it's just like, so I wound her up. Now she's ready to go. In and out, and then to come in. Okay, that means if I walked in the door, that's treat time. Give me another treat. It's just like this fucking thing that we just go around and around and around. It's like, oh my God, I need something to break up the monotony. Oh, fuck. Ugh, it's getting to me. So anyways, there's all these videos showing all this stuff. Like, it's a horrible thing happening. They're all trapped. The toilets are full. They can't get in and dump them. And that the food situation, I don't even know. Like, they can't get supplies in or out. The roads are closed. Like, there was already news reports or whatever that the roads were closed going in. It's like one long deserty road, and there's like one town or something, a really small town that seems like it doesn't even have people in it, but they closed it down. I can't even remember the name of the town. But so there was all these reports yesterday that they had closed this town. And then this weird thing with the rain, when you see all these videos trying to put it together, it's like, okay, it seems like there's more than one reality happening. This is strange. And so then, and that was really throwing me yesterday. I felt like I was just jumping from reality to reality. And so they have all these videos out saying all this stuff. And you see these videos of these people walking around, trudging around. It's just all muddy. There was cars trying to get out. They just were going deeper in the mud. It was showing people, trying to get out of there and stuff. It's like, do they even know that they can't go anywhere? But then I saw some videos, yeah, we got out. It rained, but then as soon as it dried, we just took off. And luckily we got out of there, man. It was something. And then this one guy I saw saying all that. Then he's like, yeah, I'm going next year too. It's like, okay, so, that's adventure time for some people. But it's like that they don't see the danger. They don't see. It's like they just blindly go in and do stuff that is, I don't know, this is really strange when you watch it and when you're listening to it all. And so then there was, so there's all these people. And I did a couple of videos. In one video, I was talking about the Ebola, because Ebola is, that is one, if they release that, like, and they've tested on it, they've played with it, they've tinkered around, and that there's a reason why that is the word that is getting thrown around. Like, I don't think anybody just came up with it. Well, somebody did. Somehow it came out. Somewhere it came from. And I feel like, it's like yesterday I was talking to this one person for this long time. They're saying all this shit. And they go on and look, and it's like, this is got to be a bot. This can't be a real person. But they're trying to, like, give me... Like, there's people out there who make these accounts. Some of them are just total bot accounts because there's so many of these people. But it's like they're being paid online to cause problems or misdirect or release information that's not true and stuff. So it just adds on to the whole thing of trying to, use your discernment and stuff, because there's so much, so much stuff coming out. It's just like there's no way to know. And so they had all this chaos going, and I guess they hadn't even burned the Burning Man thing. I think that's supposed to be it was supposed to be last night, which I don't know how it would have been burnt. It had to be old. It just makes no sense. There's a whole weird thing about this burning thing that they're burning has got all this symbolism towards the Ukraine, and then that there's all these people who that are all about climate change. They're all about, save the planet, but they're out there just doing all this destruction, burning. Oh, so all these people are talking about that. So you guys are the one pushing on this climate change, and look at what you guys are doing. And not only that, you had these people arrested who were trying to protest your event. You had them arrested on false charges, and then y'all just mosey on out there and just get to your party and gotta get to that party. And I saw people talking about how easy it is when they're all taking these weird synthetic drugs, how easy it is because it was done at Woodstock. It was, well, they did it at Spawn Ranch and stuff, but they put out certain ones to, see what happens. Put this out there. Even all these people going and doing that with this fentanyl crisis. It's like, what? What? It's so weird. And so, all these people go out there, they're all just out there partying, doing drugs. And this weird shaped thing with all this pagan stuff, they're all just mindlessly don't give a shit. So then all of a sudden there was like this switch that turned, and it was like all these people started coming in and attacking any of us who were talking about and saying, that's not true, that's not happening. I'm talking to people who were out there. And all of a sudden there was all this footage of these people who were out there at the thing. And so many of them, it was so weird how many of them were so the same. Like you couldn't even tell, like all these girls looked alike. Like, I don't know if it was the same girl doing a video every time or they just looked that much alike. But I have a problem with putting faces together anyways. But it was strange. And so it kept being these girls' videos. They would be talking and they would always be so like, oh my God, you guys are so crazy. There is nothing going on here. Yeah, there's some mud. Yeah, we can't go anywhere because of mud. We had to wait for it to dry. But we're all just partying. We're all burners, man. We're burners, and burners know how to do it. Burners get out there, man. We're just there for each other. We're all burners, burners, and all this like what? Okay. So you're sitting here in this little camp, because there was people who showed these camps. Like you had a camp. So you had like a neighborhood. And the neighborhood would all have to go out and talk about what are we going to do? How are we going to do it and stuff. So they were having camp meetings. So these people would know what's going on in their camp. But do you know what's going on way, way over there at that other camp? You don't know. You don't know somebody's sick over there. You don't know if somebody, have you walked the whole fucking thing? Do you know for sure there's no fences when you're saying, oh, nothing's going on? And then the way that they're just like, yeah, people are just still partying and stuff. So then it's like, oh my gosh. So when people were saying stuff to me, I was like, yeah, but do these people realize that the roads are blocked off? Like they can't leave? Do they realize they're contained? I mean, they're just sitting there, no stress at all. Let's just party. Like if I went to a thing out in the desert, out in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden, this flood, like a bad weather thing, like there was people in Vegas who were like, did y'all not check the weather? Because we knew the storm was coming, and y'all just go ahead and mosey out here. But then the burners, they're like, oh, no storm's gonna hold us back. This is a big deal. Rains at the burning festival, that's no big deal. We're burners, man. We do burn. So it's so weird. And so they ignored the weather. They were just like, fuck that. 72,000 people, whatever the number is, ignored the weather, went ahead and went. So then they're out in the middle of this place, and this flood comes in, turns everything into mud. They don't know the soil, I don't think. I don't know that they understand that this is sucking all the moisture out of their bodies. And but they just keep complaining about how heavy the mud is. And you go and walk and the mud sticks to itself. So when you walk around, you've got like this, you're walking on mud shoes, these real deep mud shoes, and it's real heavy and stuff. So they've been complaining about that kind of stuff. But it is, you know, there's also a health concern if it's sucking the shit out of it, it's sucking all the stuff out of you, and then all the toilets are overflowing. And where is people going to be going to the bathroom? And then where are you walking? Like, are you making certain places so you can go to the bathroom? Like, I don't know how organized all that is. You know, 78,000 people, they used up all the porta potties in the first few days and nobody can come and dump them. And they have a couple days left. And so to them, and this party's been going. There was somebody I saw said that they'd been there 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Like, I don't know. Maybe they went early to set up. I don't know when this thing starts. I don't know anything about it. I'd heard about it years and years ago. And when somebody was telling me about it, I was like, oh my God, that would be so fun. I would love to go to that. But that was a long time ago when I said that. When I see it and stuff, now it's just like, oh my God. And just the group of people. Like, there was this one guy, I don't know if it seems like he's a podcaster. And whenever he was the first one I think I heard say anything, because he said, well, now we got 78,000 white women with dreadlocks stuck out in the desert or something. I'm trying to be funny or whatever, but it's very much a certain type, a certain group. And progressive, like I said, I bet you the hugest majority of them got a lot of those. And so all these different concerts, like, I would really like to know, even if we went all the way back to Astroworld, the people who were affected by that. Like, there was a bunch of people who were affected. There was, you know, incidents that happened. There was health crisis. There was all sorts of shit. I'd like to know what happened with those people. And then every concert since then, there's been an episode. There's been something that's happened. There's been either people falling or not being able to breathe, or there's been something in every one of them. And I thought Marina Del Rey, I'm pretty sure that was that one where all those people in the front, and they all just went, which is, that is, they're using an energy weapon and just knocking people back. And what is the effects on them? And if you have these, what is the effects? Because they know what they're doing. Like I said, in their testing, when they were, well, if we give them this and then we add this, what happens? Well, if we give them this and then we add this on top of that, what happens? And every time the ferrets or the rats or whatever would die, and then they marked it as a success, because that's what they want the outcome to be. Add a little of this, add a little of that, and let's see what happens. And these people just walk right in, just, you know, like, there's just so much drive to party and stuff. Like, even in the middle of this stuff going on, and then these people are just like, yeah, people are just partying. Just wait. We'll just wait till it dries up. We're just going to party and have a good time. That's what burners do. And I was like, you know, I'd be more concerned. Like I said, if I found I was trapped out there, I would be concerned, because they can hold you. They can make you not be able to go anywhere. Look what they're doing in Hawaii. They're completely containing and controlling the people. They're controlling their movement, where they can go. Even when the people, because they blocked that road off too. They blocked that one off and wouldn't let the people leave. And, you know, they're probably going to do the same thing here. I guess, you know, these people were all partying and having a good time until they went. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to turn out. You know, it could be a test. It could be, but to me, I just can't believe how these people all just keep on going and going to these things, just like life just goes on. It's just totally normal. Let's just keep on going. Let's go party. It's like, that is the whole fucking problem with our society. That's what has brought us down. That has brought us to this place that we're at, is this mindless party, mindless sex, mindless just, you know, me and my impulses. Me and my impulses. That's all that matters. I'm just going to impulse my way through life. And so, you know, no control, just, the visuals. It's always the visuals. Like, sometimes they're so funny. Yeah, it's this mindless going through life kind of thing. So, um, but that is a part, is, part of us, for us to witness, to see, it helps us to see like where we want to be. Like, I know I don't want to be mindlessly going through life, just, get me to the next party, roll me in. So, like, what? And then, but there's no telling. I saw some Hawaiian person said, man, when they blocked us off in Hawaii, wasn't a good outcome. So hopefully, hopefully you guys are going to have a better one. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty suspicious to me when all these people gather themselves, they bring themselves together for low vibration stuff. Then the storm rolls in, destroys the area, and then it's a national emergency. They got to go in and just close everything off and contain these people. And the people don't even know they're contained. They're just too busy. It's like, I don't know. Like, I would be, if they came, because this stuff goes on my mind. It's been going for, and it's in the movies. They can pull up here. They could pull up here at the 542. They could block it off and say, somebody up here got the Ebola, and so it's deadly. Like, you're dead within days if you're around somebody. There's no coming back from it. And even though there's a couple people who have lived, but it is an ordeal, and most people do not live very long once you get it. So that is, and is that going to be the one they're going to use? Like, it's everywhere all of a sudden. And so they come block it off and say, well, we've got somebody in there who has it. We got to quarantine. We got to get to the bottom of this. Nobody can go out. We can't let this spread. And I think they're going to go big like that. I think that, because it's been in the movies and shit. And that is the perfect thing to do it. So I don't know. This is so weird how it was like all a certain energy, then it switched, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this is weird. Something weird is going on. Like, there's something weird. I don't know. I was just so weirded out yesterday about that whole thing. And I was just, kept feeling like am I left one reality? Was there a reality where they were all there and something happened, and then there's a reality where they're all there and nothing happened? Is there two realities? There's two different things going? I don't fucking know. Everything just seems weird to me. Like, I swear to God, I can't even tell you how many videos I've seen where they're talking, where they'll have the date, and it's the date of the day, but it is already the end of it or something. It's just weird shit. Like, that just keeps on messing with your head. I think there's a lot of people who just don't pay attention to stuff, but there's weird shit. Start paying attention to details of things. Like, when somebody is saying something, pay attention to the dates and stuff. It was weird. Just like, in Hawaii, they had all those people there ahead of time. Like, those things keep being too. And that's set up. But there just keeps being a lot of weird shit. One thing too is, this is a good one. This guy's video, he was, it seemed like it was from last month. So it seemed like it was a couple weeks old. Because he was saying it's been 10 days since something. And so I was thinking, okay, that had to be last month. And so anyways, he was saying, he was talking about the money crash thing. And he was saying Germany's holding on by a string. The Deutsche Bank is, it's done for. The Germans are about to go. And Chase got busted. So he said this is going to be big coming out because Chase got busted, taking $200 million out over the past 12 months. They've taken $200 billion out of the bank and moved it. So they're doing schemes and shit with the money. So that's going to come out. That'll probably come out all about, to just show us the criminals and the crimes and how they use the money to manipulate and control us and stuff like that. So, I imagine it's all just a big part of the show with the, for that kind of money like that. But I think, all those things, like, is, it's going to push it over. And this guy was saying, because that guy was saying it was going to be like, he was expecting any day, any minute, for it to go. And that was a couple weeks ago. And so that's why and I've seen so many other people, like, we're not getting out of September without this happening. September, this is the month where shit is going to change. I guess it's in the stars and shit, like in the plant, I know, with astrology and stuff. I don't know, because I feel like we've heard this so many times, but I still feel like we're just so on the edge. But that they're, what was this? Because he was saying, he was even saying there was a tank driving down his little town where he lived. And he said there's just all this stuff going that has never been. So there's a lot of action, a lot of movement. There's a lot of arrests. I've seen a lot of different things where there's a lot of arrests happening. And so let's see, because he said that, so, oh, and they've been running tests on the EBS. They've been running tests on, let's see, the EBS and something else. So they've been getting things ready. And so he said when it's going to go, there's going to be some bad things going to happen. I think everybody's pretty much on the same page. Something big is going to happen. And then, and it's going to bring a lot of violence, but something is going to go, but that is when it's going to go 10 days. He said he keeps hearing 10 days is we're going to be locked down. But he said in that 10 days that they're going to be trying to do it fast. They're going to be trying to do this money thing fast to get us on the quantum thing. It's not going to be like they're going to drag it out a long time. You know, I don't know. This is just what he was saying, and I don't know, you know, his intel or whatever. But he said that it'll be kind of like a quiet on the down low. Like, I don't know if they'll message you directly and ask you to come in for an appointment, or if they can meet with you or something. So, you know, but it's going to be, he said that it's going to be very quiet, and that people are not supposed to talk about like where they're getting their money and stuff. So I don't know. You know, I know that there's a lot of people who, you know, would not, there's a lot of people who are still very third dimensional mind, you know, just like, well, let's party. They're not thinking, they're not prioritizing. They'd have their money spent in a week to go to a party. So I don't know, you know, man, this is just, there's a lot of weird things, because it's not like that they can babysit people. It's not like if they give you your $1 million, and I don't know how much money we're all going to get and how long it's going to take to get it, if we're just going to get, like, we're all allotted a certain amount off our birth certificate, off of our trade, because everything's supposed to be super equal. So it shouldn't be like, well, you're worth 5 million when you're only worth 80,000. It shouldn't be like that. It's going to be equal. Everybody's equal. So it's going to be equally distributed gold. It's not going to be like, well, I'm this, so I get more. It's going to be equally distributed, because everything is going to just equality. And so I don't know if some of those people, if they just go out and blow their money, it's just like, well, that's your lesson. Or if there's going to be, you know, nowhere to blow it, or if there's going to be like restrictions for a while. I don't know. Maybe the things that people could blow it on are going to be very limited for a while. So we'll just got to see how it goes. But I do think it is close. I do think we're going to see some changes. But, you know, again, there's got to be this big thing. And who knows? Is it going to be Burning Man? Are they going to make a big old thing and they're going to fucking laser these people? Or are those people just going to go home and, you know, and we're all going to just go, whew, another one. Boy, we've got to, you know, and then here comes the earthquake. I don't know. There's another insurance company now in California who's dropped, they're not going to pay for things that happen to your house. I think it's Farmers now and State Farm have said that they're dropping the homeowners insurance stuff. But I said that fucking how many storms ago. I said, it's so weird how these people keep thinking, oh, I'm just going to put in a thing to my insurance. Y'all seriously? Y'all see all these storms, and you really think all these insurance companies just have all this money sitting there to just give you money? That's how you think the system works. because that's not how it works. And so, yeah, they're not going to pay out. But, to me, it is also just that hand of God kind of thing, is to just bring it up, to get it on your mind, to get you thinking, well, shit, I'm going to be in California and there's all these goddamn storms. Anything could happen. And now they're not even going to, I could lose my house at any second and have nothing. Oh, yeah, and that whole thing with the burying the people in your yard, when we used to just go out and, your dad died, we'd go out in our yards and have a ceremony and bury our parent. And then, our parents would be there. We would go out and talk to them when we felt bad. And, it was a whole fucking thing, the way people lived. And so I guess when you have the dead people, then they can't tax. They can't do property tax if you have a dead person on your property. So that was where they were like, okay, well, we got to tax these motherfuckers. We got to sell them this fake land so we can fucking tax it. What are we going to do? So then they decided to go in on the cemeteries and shit, so that they would make a place. And then they got to, well, then let's go fancy. Let's make some fancy, let's put pressure on them. I mean, they should bury somebody, it should be $20,000. Let's like, have them get insurance to cover it. Like, it just kept expanding. When it goes back, the whole thing was just so that they could take our land from us and tax us. And but, the more normal, natural way would just be your people, your area. And before that, they couldn't take your land. It was your generational property. It was your property for your kids, your grandkids. You had your own family plot. And then they just jacked it all just for profit and for taxing. And then plus to even come up with the words that they could, how we keep on saying, okay, well, you came up with a new tax. Okay, well, I'm going to pay it. Like, why in the world have we not just been like, fuck you and your taxes, pay your own goddamn taxes. Look how far it has to go. And there's still people who do anything to get their shit paid. You gotta be a good person. Gotta pay myself. Well, I gotta go to work. I gotta have money. Where am I supposed to live? It's just like, it's all so you can change that. I can't tell you all that. Is you got to tune into yourself, and you got to go through this process. You got to figure out like how you want to live, where you want to live, what's important to you, what's not important to you. But you need to, take notice of what you're dealing with. Like, is this what you want to deal with? I don't. I don't want to deal with these overseers, these fucking overlords that are just, take, take, take. And so, anyways, there was something that I had seen that let me think what it was. Oh man, I can't remember. It seems like that there was something else that I had seen that I wanted to talk about. But anyways, it's just important to, I don't know, it's like be present to, it's just like this mindless compulsion. And then it's just, everything that kind of just goes back to me to like children, and then these overlord people treat us like they're our parents, like that they have a say. And then that so many of the people behave like children, like, oh, well, I'm out, I'm partying, I'm gonna go, it's just this childish behavior, it's mindless. It's just like not thinking about tomorrow, not thinking about what's going on, not thinking about anybody else. And it's all this, it's so weird how it is just it's this lower chakra, it's this consciousness that is cut off from reality, kind of. It's just on this, this replay kind of thing. There's this, mindless playing their part. And, but it's going to switch. That mindless thing is going to, make somebody feel bad about themselves. All I hear about is partying and like the people. I don't fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if a whole bunch of because it's kind of like that's kind of like where we're at in this whole awakening is like this punishment for uh, not not doing right, not thinking right, not being right, like how the earth is, it's an energetic thing though. This is energy. And so as that energy is purging out, like I don't know, people are really stuck in that mindset, and no harm, no shame to them. I mean, if that's what they came here just to experience the 3D and to experience partying and now they're leaving, I don't know. It's just weird because it is that is what is changing in our society. Is this just something like, that is being highlighted to us to get us to think, to hear conversations, to get people to recognize like how mindless this is? Is this how we want our world to be? Just I don't know. This whole thing is weird, is because everything that is happening, it's like knowing what is going to be, but then there's all this part that has to fill in to get there. And so it's like, well, we know that's going to be, where we're headed, but all the part to get us there is like, fuck, I don't know what all is going to go down. We don't know what we're watching it play out. We're watching as everything changes, as people change, as our society changes. So all of these changes occurring and people going through all of these traumas and ordeals and everything is the change. But, it's all happening while we're going through it. And so it's, to know, like, I don't think, fuck, I don't know. Fuck, I don't think people in the future will be doing like a bunch of synthetic drugs and shit. Like I don't. People will want to have experiences stuff, but I don't. Man, I just think that a lot of that stuff is going to change. Like I think a lot of people are going to stop doing their hair weird colors. Like I mean, just the fact of this certain drug that's in our water that's changing people's genders and shit like that. Uh, I would think that is would significantly impact people. There would be, well, I'm not going to drink that. I'm not going to eat that. Like people will be more aware and more consciously choosing. So if they're caring about their health and they don't want poisons, then I don't think that they would just go risk it all and do a bunch of synthetic drugs to see what happens. And then plus the respect for the mind and not have to put it through uh, whatever happens when you take that stuff to like I know I've done like mushrooms and stuff. That's natural. When I did acid long time ago, because it was popular back in the 70s. And that was a whole thing too. What was that I just had seen? Oh, I think it was somebody who was showing the footage of like Woodstock and comparing to Burning Man and Woodstock. The people were out there because it had a big giant rainstorm on that, and it was mud, and it was like the same kind of, only they kept the concert going. They were still out there singing and stuff. But the people were saying, why is there this rain? They're going over us, spraying this shit on us. This was in the 70s. They're spraying those chemtrails on us, and it's coming in and it's causing rain. They're seeding the rain. This was in the 70s. And then so that they were giving drugs to stop us from awakening, to stop us from seeing that. So they were giving a bunch of synthetic drugs and stuff. So it was kind of, to stop the awakening. So acid got really popular there for a while. And when I did it, it was just, to me, it was scary. It's like, handing your mind over to somebody else or something. And so, I don't know, it freaks me out. Even with the mushrooms, it freaks me out because it's like your mind goes off on its own thing. You can't do anything about it. It's just off on its own. And it's ugh. It's weird because, you know, you're going through like colors and it is weird. So I just don't think people are going to be so into that. I think that's going to kind of be, people are going to be more respectful of their mind, and they're going to learn more about their own abilities, like, you know, for meditation and healing their minds and stuff. There's something that is coming out too, is something that people can start taking or doing, a certain kind of detox to start getting the chemicals from this out of them. So that is coming out too. There's some sort of a detox to start getting that stuff out of you. And I saw this sad video. It's just as heartbreaking, man. And I've got grandkids that are, it's just so annoying. This whole fucking thing. I wish everybody would hurry and get on the same page. So, but this guy, he said that they had just gone and got their child, their 4-month shots in the, so their kid's 4 months old, and they went and got, which I thought they were 6 months. So I don't even know, like, are they adding in new ones? Like, I thought it was right at birth, 3 months and 6 months. I don't know. I could be changing it. I mean, they've added on like, I think it used to be like 14 and now it's like 36 things or something. It's just ridiculous how much shit they pile in these babies. And so this guy said that they got it 4 days ago. No, 3 days ago. 4-month-old baby, 3 days ago. And the baby has puked all over the bed every night. Just puked. And so he's wondering, you know, what's going on. Does anybody know anything? There's no motherfucking telling. God, it's scary. It's so scary. Like what they are putting in stuff and then just directly putting it right inside of people. And fuck. I just, to me, and how much of this shit that they are putting to like go into us. Like I bet you there's stuff that rains down on people. It goes onto their heads, and because their hair is so dried out, you know, because this stuff is like snot or something. I think this stuff is like, it doesn't feel like snot. I'm not saying that, but like how we have in our nose, like the nose hairs. Even yesterday I was sitting there going, fuck, I shouldn't have even cut my nose hairs. I should just let them go long and grow, because the hairs are these little like fingers to make sure things can't get through, like neobots and shit. See, she's back already. Hold on. Oh my gosh, Taylor, you're so dramatic. Okay, so the neobot, let me think back what I was saying. Okay, what the fuck was I talking about? Neobot. Okay, so if so the hairs in your nose is supposed to be like little fingers, you know, to hold stuff back. So it's like little bugs, little gnats and stuff that can fly up your nose. So that's what your nose hairs are for. It's like a shield. It's like a filter that it has to go through. Then the mucus is the trap. So everything is lined with mucus. You got mucus everywhere inside your body. And that is why it's no surprise that it's a natural thing for our hair to coat itself, because our whole body does that. And so the mucus is supposed to trap the things so they can't get through. So you have the hairs to catch them, and then you have the mucus to catch them. And then it kind of in the mucus, it's kind of like a spider web. Something gets in there and then it curls around in there. And then you get boogers. So you got like little dead bugs and stuff. Like, it always grosses me out when people eat boogers and stuff. It's like, ooh, it's just a salty little bug or something up in there. So anyways, kids pulling out these big old boogers. It's like, ugh, so disgusting. So anyways, but that is, there's a point, there's a purpose to this stuff. It isn't just like, oh God, we got the nose hairs, let's call them close. No, there's a reason why we have all this stuff. And then we, as these natural beings, we keep fighting it. Can you imagine if deers were showing up, oh, I don't like this, or any other kind of animal. Oh, like, it's so bizarre how programmed we've become. Just on the hair thing, like it has been such a mind battle to stop washing my hair and to, go natural. So on all of the different things. And when you start doing it, if everybody else isn't doing it, you're just a weirdo. Like, okay, that's kind of weird. That's weird, but you just got to stick with it. Just keep going and keep going. And that is the trend setter, and maybe it'll be a flop. Maybe, maybe I'm a laughing stock. Maybe I'm going around with just really greasy hair all the time. I don't know. To me, it definitely seems like the same thing with the rest of our body, that it's putting something out to protect itself. And so this sebum stuff comes out and it protects your hair so nothing can attach to it. And then it protects your follicle, so it coats it nicely to keep it. And then confirmation. I've seen so many people do that now. Everything is confirmation. If they burp or cough or sneeze, it's always confirmation. So that's confirmation. Every burp is a confirmation. Whatever I'm saying, that's confirmation. So, what was I going to say? So the nose hairs hold the bugs back. So we all start going around with a bunch of nose hair. But to me, it's like when we move out of this density, and we all become just like light, or just we're more of this. It's the weirdest thing to go from this. Okay, so we're flesh and blood. We're on a globe. We're out spinning in space, and then go into this mind, body, spirit, and connect with your body. But then through the thing, and then you find out, well, it's all based on frequency, and the frequency is low here just so we can see things. But then when it goes up, you can't see them anymore. So, but they don't all explode. It's just like the picture just goes away. So you go up, the picture just goes away. Just like when the people leave, die in our experience, they just go away. They just are, we can't see them anymore. But they're not really gone. We just can't see them. So it's the same thing like with our bodies. And so then when you go into that kind of thing, then it starts changing everything again, because the way you do things, the way you look at things, and the way you think about things, it all just keeps changing and changing as you go through it. But it's like you have to go through each step. It's not like you can just jump. Even if you try and jump, nothing will make sense. You have to go through each step to get to the next thing so things make sense. The jumping, around, even if you are in your awakening, because when you're very first awakening, it's like you're hungry. It's like you want to understand a lot of different things. You're going out and trying to explore a lot of different things. And so, you're learning, like for me, when I was learning about Reiki, which I did try and do that again yesterday on her. Like I used to try it all the time. And every fucking time, even if like right now she's laying there, I don't know if she's asleep yet because she's not snoring, but she's probably laying there like, oh, Mom's just mad at me. She does get like that. And then so she's laying there, and I went over there and started doing it. Swear to God, she'd wake up. Happens every fucking time. So yesterday, I'm like pushing on different things. Like, is this where it hurts? Is this where it hurts? What about here? And it seems like it's like near her tail, which, her tail has got to weigh fucking 10 pounds. Just that tail alone. If you had a backache and you're, that's how I imagine it. Because how many times I have taken her to the vet $1,000 appointment, the same thing every time. Well, she's got hip dysplasia and arthritis. We got some medicine, we can put you on it, but that, she's in the end stages of that. So it's like, okay, how many more appointments? I've been gone this fucking appointment after appointment, got the same fucking thing. And so, and you have to go in and they have to pay for x-ray. They have to do all this shit. It's just like, we don't have real doctors that care. It's all this money-making machine. And so, I feel, and she's got such a breakout with those cyst bump things. They're all over her right now. And I kind of wish that she would fast. And because I think that they do get smaller when she fasts. So I wish that she would fast, but she's like starving to death all the time. And I've run out of meat. I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to probably have to go to the food bank tomorrow. I still got some of that left that I had put it back in the freezer. I got to throw it away because I just know if I get it back out, she's going to have diarrhea again. And so I got to just throw that one away. And she's not going to be happy. I maybe just make her some eggs or something this morning. But I may have to go up to the food bank tomorrow. Because that is another thing, too, is, making sure that you have stuff if this is going to be when shit is going to go down. So, when I was over there, and I was feeling the thing, and then I got some castor oil. I said, I'll rub that on you because this works on all of my bumps. I put castor oil on all our bumps all the time. So I put castor oil back there. It's like, and another thing too, this has got me too, because if you remember, and I swear this is why she always barks at this one neighbor. And I don't know why he keeps wanting to talk to her, but I feel certain that he shot her with a BB gun because she, before the guy died behind me, the other guy was over there all the time working at his yard. He was always over there trying to help him, I guess. And Stella would go out and bark at him because he's like right back in my yard. It looks like, you're right there. So just go out and bark. And one of the times I'd open the door and I heard him, shut up. I just thought, oh my God, some of these men around here. It's like, if you just talk to a dog, the dog's barking at you, just talk to it. Hey, what are you barking about? How are you doing? It stops them. You just talk back. So anyways, but always these men that are just angry and, fuck you, shut up, dog. You better go give you something to shut up. It's like, dude, goddamn. And then when she came in and I had seen that she had that perfect little round ball thing right on the back of her, right on the part, because around her tail, around her butt, it's got like a deer or something. You know how they have that white going up there? So she has that white, big, thick fur part too. And right in the middle of it, there was a black hole. And so then when I went up and I was looking, I was like, oh my God, this is a BB hole. This is an exact BB hole. And so then I was like, who else would have done it? Like, who else could have done it? There's nobody else around. And to do it when she was walking away, and so that bothered me. And then I had told my mom about it. And this was a long while ago too. And she said that she had found that her dog, her big old giant dog, she had a Rottweiler, and it had been shot with a BB more than once, but the BB had gone in and lodged somewhere. There was like, just look up, there's a bunch of horrible stories about that. Like BBs can actually, like it could be the BB is in there and is lodged in there. And so I kept trying to feel if I could feel a lump in her bone or anything. There's like a little lump, a little hard thing, but I don't know, if it caused some sort of damage. I don't know. But it seems like that is the area, is back over there where that BB thing was. And that was like, 8 months ago. Or I don't even know, like so much of this shit. I'd have to go back and go through all the videos to see when did that happen? When did that happen? Like, I'm so lost in time at this point. I swear to God, when I started doing this, I swear to God, I thought it would be like a couple months. I had no idea it was going to go like this. I really thought, everything that has been happening, I've thought, oh, this is going to happen real quick. Oh, this will happen real quick. So it's the time. Time is definitely a battle for me. it through this, whole thing, time. It's just like a bug. There's this whole battle with time. It's weird. But so I was rubbing that oil on her, and then I started doing the Reiki real sneaky like, and she was looking the other direction. So I start real sneaky like, and I'm doing it, and I can feel the energy, like I can feel the hotness, and I'm starting to pull it up and stuff. And she feels it every time. It's weird. She will turn around, she will jump up, she will get mad at me, and she'll start doing this whole thing. Like she has like a meltdown every time I do this Reiki. And so I'm like, does she feel it? Does she feel the energy? But then I started going, okay, if she is her own spirit, because that's what we got to, wrap our heads around. She may not be able to speak English, but she's a spirit who knows what the fuck she's doing. She knows she's got a plan. She's doing her own thing. And then this whole weird thing too is a spirit animal, and how we're so connected through our spirits with our spirit animal that is kind of like they're playing out another role for you or something. It's trippy. But I feel so certain about this thing about her being a predator for so many different lives, especially from when I was a kid, and I can remember that dream of being killed, being stalked by that giant cat. And oh my God, that was terrifying when I was a kid, because I had no idea, and it was horrible. And I didn't have like anybody, I didn't have parents. It was not like, you could scream and cry, Mom, I'm having a nightmare. And be like, well, go to bed, shut up. I'm like, what do you want me to do about it? It's your dream. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess you're right. I was, there's a reason why we all become who we are, And so, and there's nothing wrong with being self-sufficient, even if it's harsh when you learn it. And so, but when I go to bed, I would have these terrorizing dream every fucking night, and it was long and drawn out. Of this, me being stalked by this big fucking cat, and every time I knew that I got killed, every time. And then it started even getting more elaborate. Then it started being this fucking drawn out thing about my whole family. And then it started being, I started having dreams where it would be like, oh, me and my friends, and we're trying to get away, and we're in this house, and it keeps coming. It's like the dream just got worse and worse. It just kind of morphed into worse dream. And it went on for years, years and years and years. Fuck. I remember I was like, by the time I was a teenager, even saying, oh, I don't like to go to bed. I don't like to go to sleep at night. I have horrible dreams. I constantly told people I had nightmares every night for so fucking long. So long. And it's horrible when you have nightmares every fucking night. And I don't remember when it was, but I remember all of a sudden when it switched. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have any nightmares. And then it just started being where I wasn't having nightmares like that. But then all of a sudden one would sneak in, and I would have a nightmare, and then would be like, oh my God, so fucking horrible. And then it would go a long, long time with none. Now I've gone fucking a long time without. It seems like the last one that I had was that one where someone was trying to get in the house, and this person was killed. It was a weird dream. It was so fucking long and weird. And it was like all night. And then it was so scary that I woke up, and then I went back to sleep and went back in the same fucking dream. I was like, okay, I got to take control of this shit. You got to, when you're, that's one thing is learning the lucid dreaming, to take control, to realize, oh, I'm in a dream. Because now I'm more like that, where I can recognize when I'm in a dream. So if I don't want to test this. This isn't something I'm trying to challenge. It's like, if I'm in a nightmare, then I just say, this is what's going to happen. Like, oh, I don't want to test it. Nightmares are horrible to me. It was a really bad part of my life. So I don't know. Oh yeah. So, because, but then the whole thing, like I've told this story before, about when the mountain lion was in my yard, and then I panicked, and it brought back all of those nightmares. All of a sudden, I just brought it all back of like, oh my gosh, how scared I am of big cats like that. And it's like in my core, because you all remember, this is in your core. You don't forget things just because you don't remember it. Your mind is remembering things. So I was, what was I going to say? I was terrorized by the cat thing, and I thought, you know, I was going to have to sell my house. I could no way live out by wild animals. They were going to eat me. And then, but those memories are a part of you. And I like, fuck, I just saw I've seen this before. And it gives me such anxiety. This is the one where the guys are on the boat and they're trying to show the water change. And then if you see the people showing the flat earth map and all these different water things, but there's portals. Everything is this frequency and portals. But when the guys are driving in the boat and they're going out and it's all this certain water, it looks a certain way, it moves a certain way. And then all of a sudden they look across, and all of a sudden it just becomes smooth. The whole thing changes. The color of the water, the texture, everything changes. And so, why was I talking about that? Oh yeah, is because just seeing water all around gives me such anxiety. Open water, fucking, it gives me such anxiety. Wild animals, like, I definitely do not want to go walking in the forest. She kept trying to pull me in the forest, and it's like, hell no. The last time we went, I was carrying this giant stick, and I was like, fuck, every sound you hear. At least a bear would be a little bit more cumbersome, especially through where there's, man, I don't know. I think they could probably jump over some of that shit. But the mountain lions too, they're up in the trees. So when you're walking, you got to be like looking up, because they'll sleep up in the trees. And so, anyways, that's what I've always heard from around here, is like, when you're out walking, it's up in the trees. That's where the big cats are. And so, that was, but when I had had that realization, where I was like, oh my God, all this memories coming back from the nightmares of being eaten and stuff. And that is when my guide showed me that that was Stella. Stella was the cat. And there was other things too, because they showed me other signs, other things. Like all of a sudden they give you more information. Remember this? Remember this? Well, we were telling you this too. Remember when we were trying to show you this? Well, now you caught on. So you'll have those moments where all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, that and that and that. And so you'll have like a realization moment that will have a whole bunch of things that they were trying to show you, but all of a sudden you just caught on. You just all of a sudden got it. And so that she is my, like my guardian. She's like here for me through this period of time. And this has been a huge part of my life's journey, is this awakening to my own self, to my own truth, because even though I stood up for who I was throughout my life, it was still so like repressed. It was still like you're always laughed at. You're just like, you're a total idiot. And then to get to this part of life where all the things that I had been saying were true. And so like this vindication kind of time. But through this part, of the, she's about to turn 7. Through all of that time has been so significant in my journey to myself. And so then it was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense when you have your spirit animal there for you. And then it made so much sense to me how this animal had killed me, and then going full circle that it has to come back and protect me. And she's so protective. She's so protective, and it's really is really cool when she goes out. There's so many things that she goes out and she acts like a big cat. And sometimes even when I'll open the door, her first sounds out when she goes outside are these growl things. It sounds just like a big cat. And so then when I get that idea about this animal reincarnation thing, and then I start paying attention and watching her, and that's where I start seeing like, oh my gosh, she's been a hippopotamus. She acts just like a hippopotamus. And then, oh my gosh, she is definitely, she's got to have been a cow. like she's got to have been a cow. She just loves to graze. And all these different animals that animals go through and be so that they can have all these different experiences. But what I was getting through my exchange with was that the animals are ascending too. So they're going through changes. And so she, because back, sometimes when I repeat this stuff, it's like, but there's so many people who you don't know what I'm talking about, some of the things, because you don't know all the different things that I've said. So some of these stuff I gotta repeat. But because all of the different spirits are all living lives, and it's all different levels of consciousness. And so it's levels of consciousness experiencing itself. And so like the animals, and it's all on different levels too. What they're experiencing, what they're ascending, what their conscious level is. So it's all different levels. And even in the humans, like you can see, just like with the burners or whatever, like that's a different level, which is nothing, people who want to go out and enjoy their lives and stuff. It's just that things are out of balance. Like we should be able to go out and, if we want to go party and enjoy our life, and, that's what life is all about, for you to get to decide what you want to do. It's just that everything is so out of balance. Everything is so deep and heavy into one thing, and it has to go the other direction. When the people are so deep and heavy into it, how do you notch back? How do you reel it in? So it's up to each person. And the people who can't, when you're out of balance, we're going into a time of balance. We're going into this transition where everything has to be balanced. And so people are out of balance, but they just they don't recognize it. But so she, but again, we're going to go out of this mindless partying, but it's going to still be, people are going to have fun, but it's not going to go into the way out of extreme, Like you still go and have people dancing and singing, be people. I don't think people would be doing drugs though. Maybe they would be doing natural, but I think life's going to be so good, people aren't going to be wanting to escape it. It's going to be, too much fun. And, but, I had like a couple things going at once. But anyways, back on the animal thing. So, the animals are, everything is ascending. All, like the tree, every energy is ascending. Every energy is becoming more conscious of itself and more interactive with the other energies. And so it is this, that is like this evolution. It's not just a personal evolution. It's like an evolution of our state of being, or our, because it's like our whole environment. It's like everything is ascending. So it's not just us, but we are the change. Our ascension is what changes things. Oh yeah, so the pain thing. Oh yeah, so when I was asking my own guides about pain and stuff, and they had told me that pain grounds you into the reality. So pain holds your mind. And that is like this whole thing about our bodies expressing what it is we need to work on. So pain is showing you something that you need to work on, and it's holding you into the reality. So it's tangible, so you can feel it. So it is an expression of something that needs to be worked on, if you get what I'm saying. But so all the animals and stuff, they're going through the same kinds of things. And they also have even if she can't communicate, and she's trying, oh my gosh, she's trying so hard. Because I keep telling her, you got to communicate, you got to tell me, you got to show me. I've hung bells around. I really wish my house was bigger. I would totally get her one of those communication pads. I think those are really cool, where the dogs can learn the words of the buttons, and then they can communicate that way with you, because I think she would be able to do that. But I don't have, I mean, that'd be my walking space. um, uh, doesn't seem feasible. And so she is, but to me, what it was is that she is experiencing pain as a part of her ascension because she was a predator. So, because she put pain out, now she's experiencing pain because she's had it her whole life. She was born into it. And, there's a lot of questions that I ask, like, why? Why? Why this? Why that? And those are the answers that I get back. And so, as she's trying to grow and expand her consciousness and her awareness, and then putting things back into balance for herself. So, and is it just about the experiencing what you put out? So, whatever you've put out, your energy has put out in the world, that you experience it to put it back into. God, it's weird when these coughs just all of a sudden come up. Hold on. Because it feels like it's a total attack in my chest, like I'm about to have another coughing fit every day. So weird. And I wonder too, how much is, because they can do that with, they can do that with, frequency. Like they can hit a hit where it can make you feel like this is like a tickle going, this is weird feeling. But I have noticed before, I was back, I don't know, I think it was like a year or so ago when I was talking about it, about noticing when the tower things are on, because you can feel like a tickle in here. You can feel like when it turns up and stuff. So I don't know. I think that there's so many things. It's like that they are like controlling our bodies or something without. It's like they're overriding our system. That's why I said, like, when somebody comes in and just starts talking, it's a different kind of talking than when you are communicating. When you're communicating with the other side, it's different because you have, like I said, if you start really trying to break down your mind, you start trying to really notice the loudest part, the part that's closest up by your eyes, is like the part for your vision, for you to see so that you can, it's like acknowledge, um, it's like okay, so it's like acknowledging your reality. And so, but it's like a processing it too, because we go through this whole pattern of, well, they said this and I said this and then I should have said this, but they said that. We go through these weird breakdowns and then confirmation. And then sometimes we get into this where we keep replaying something. Like we keep replaying it. Like, well, if I replay it enough times, do I change it? Why? I don't know why. I don't understand why we'll replay something like that. Just keep replaying it, replaying it, replaying it. So you got this weird shit that goes on up towards the front. And so that is a thing to start really realizing, because to me, that's the first noise. That's like walking into the house and you got to go through this giant party to get back to the backyard or something. So you've got this giant, and then the backyard is the people you want to talk to. This giant ass party is just a bunch of nonsense. It's like talking to a bunch of burners or something. It's like, what are we talking about here? And it's just this repetitive, just it's kind of nonsense. But it can be loud. It can be overwhelming. And depending on how attached you are to all this different toxic behaviors, I think it can be how loud it is, how often I think some people just live in an just all day beat down of, I can't believe they said that. Oh, they're a fucking asshole. Like, you should have, you know what, you are, and that is where you start having the attachments, this dark energy that is attached to you. It's just an emotion. It's like an emotion that just keeps feeling itself and wants you to feel it too. And it just wants to feel itself. Oh, let's just feel this. Let's be angry together. And so it is trying to direct your thinking. And it does it in it can do it in a friendly way. It's a very, this is where I think people come up with this, well, it's demons, it's devils, they're tricking us. No, they're not. It's not, that's not what it is. Like, if you were a demon and you were if you were this powerful, almighty demon, why in the fucking hell would you be bothered to just go and try and take over these people? Like, it's got all the power in the world. It's its own force. So, I mean, just if you think about it, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. No, it's fucking just dark energy. It's just this unconscious energy that just wants to feel itself, that's trying to understand itself. Is that where we all start out? I don't know. Is that where all souls start? I don't know. Do you go through a process of, or is it just like the special souls that are able to go through different parts of existence and to continue its trudgery, its battle towards itself, towards aligning to its understanding of who and what it is? Or there's some that are obviously out there, looking for somebody to help them see who they are. But that is also in other levels of this consciousness. So anyways, but the dark energy is not devils that are just, well, we got nothing to do. A devil force. We can take over it just makes no sense. And so all these people think like there's just an army of devils out here taking us all over, and they've got all these ulterior motives too. The spooky part is that the people who are trying to take us over, they have got access to this technology and shit, and they can fucking talk in your head. They can do all sorts of shit. So that's and they've been testing it. They would test all these fucking drugs. Like, they could have gone into that burners and tainted all those people with some weird chemical. And like I said, they've all got these, so some weird chemical, and then they all go home, and 2 weeks later, they're all sick, and they're all and then how would we know? I mean, we don't even know what the hell's going on in Hawaii. How would we know, like, what happens to all these burners when they go home? Are they being sprayed every night? Like, there's a reason they're contained. When you see the footage of the storm going, well, somehow this skinny ass fucking storm just perfectly went right over them. Just perfect. Got all this other place to go, but it just went right there and went right over them. And it wasn't even that big of a thing. And so, all that shit is done on purpose. So they're doing it on purpose for a reason. They're not just doing it, well, we got nothing else to do today. No, there's always something. There's a reason. They're knocking people down. They're having people stop breathing in places. All these people falling. Like, weird shit keeps happening in these concerts. And people just keep on going. It's like, when are y'all going to notice that weird shit is going on? How many things do we have to watch you guys go through before y'all catch on? Like, fuck. And I can't just turn it off like, well, they're just NPCs. They don't matter. No, these are human beings. These are human beings that are just lost. Like, all these burners out there just mindlessly, well, we're just out here to party. It's like, when you're actually out there being tested on, but have fun. So, I don't know. But anyways, with so in your mind, you have all of that noise to get through. Then you have the attachments that are in there just trying to feed you information to keep themselves alive, keep that energy of them current in your mind, to keep that energy. So you're feeding them. It's this back and forth, back and forth. And so that is another thing you have to recognize. So while you're minding your mind, you got to realize that where you're spinning out, that's what I call just spinning out. You just keep thinking about the same shit, trying to fix things that aren't fixable. And, that's a different way of thinking. And then you got the attachments that are just trying to feed your anger, feed your resentment, and all that stuff. But then you get more into the slowing it down. So you go through the party, You get through the door, you get through all the noise, you get through the party, you get through the hall, everybody blocking it, here, come to my room, come to my room, and all that dark energy. And then you get through that and you get out to the back patio, and that's where things are calm. It's calm. You got people just sitting back there chatting. You got people over there, a barbecue going. Everybody's just, it's a completely different energy. Completely different energy. So once you work through there and you get back here, but see, all of this noise is where it blocks this because it's so quiet. And then so many people have such a hard time getting through this part. That's the getting control of your mind. We're under mind control, but we've got to reel it into our control of our minds. But then you got to recognize these different battles that you've got to get through in order to get there. Is then once you get back there, then your conversations are much more mindful, and still this dark energy will try and like jump in and well, what about this, what about that, and then it's easier to recognize too. Confirmation is easier to recognize too, because um when you're in the quiet part, then you can recognize when those voices come in. They're a different energy and they're a little louder. So when you're back there, it is a lot. It's just like peaceful. I'm telling you, it's like going into this backyard party after you go through all the chaos to get back there where all the grandparents are, where it's just calm and everybody's just sitting there talking about deep stuff, and it's totally different. So once you get through there and you get back there, but then that's when you can have conversations about, well, what am I doing here? Well, why am I doing that? Well, what if I do this? And then those conversations are like you're sitting with your grandparent and they're helping you to walk through something. And so you become more mindful. You're like, well, and they'll show you different perspectives. Well, if you did that, what about this? Well, don't forget about this. And what are you always working towards? Your autonomy. Are you going to be affected by this? Are you going to be affected by that? What can you do to make yourself better? It's like this completely different conversations you have when you get through all the noise and you get back there. That's when you'll know, oh, now I've hit the jackpot. Now I've found the people I want to talk to. And then you got to start recognizing, okay, so those other voices, how do I turn them off? How do I turn the channel? How do I just, shut them down? I'll just tell them, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of here. And especially if I notice some, interfering or coming up with some snotty thing, because they've always got stuff that is just to create chaos, or it's a different energy. And so when they start coming up with saying stuff, then I was like, shut up. Go on, get the fuck out of here. And so, however you talk to them or however you figure out. But once you can get through that noisy part and you get back there, then you get into a place where you can have real conversations. You can really start understanding things. They start explaining things to you. And they'll show you things. Things in your life will make so much more sense. But you just got to get through all of the noise. And it's like a practice. It's like a development. It's like we're supposed to be doing that. It's a part of it. Like you can't just go to the gym. Like what would be the point to, you're 400 pounds. You just go to the gym and you walk through the door and you walk out the other door and all of a sudden, you're 180 and you're all fit and you didn't have to do any of the work. See, that is why we gotta do the work, because then it has it matters. It has more of a substance. It has more of an effect. We can't just skip all the parts. The parts are the development. The parts are what makes you you. The parts is how you become you. So all of those steps, just like what I was saying in the beginning, we can't jump over certain dominoes. It's all micro, macro. Throughout this whole transition, we can't just skip parts. All the dominoes that are falling, we don't know what the pattern is. We don't know how they're all going to go. We just know that they all have to go. And so we know we can't stop them. We can't, make that one stop or that one stop. They have to go. But it is like we're over here, and it is like it's weird because this is like these reality merging thing is like you can know, like we can know where we're going, but all this stuff has to occur to get there. We can't know where we're going and just put ourselves there. We can't just be there because we know we're going to get there. We have to go through the process. So the process is all of the stuff that we're going through. And so watching it from, that perspective of like, this is what leads us this is what leads us to that. This is where we get to from that. This is why we start, caring. This is why we start having morals again. This is why, humanity changes. This is why they become, a serious entity. We're not just all, mindless up in here. It's going to be, but there is all these challenges, it's a lot of challenges, and each person has to meet their own challenges. So, and it's with animals too, as I'm telling you, her and her stuff, it wears on me so much. And I've got to work on that so much of the, because I know me losing Lucy has a significant thing. There's all lessons. It's all about lessons. And losing Lucy was so hard on me. Still affects me. Still, if I start, I can't go and watch videos of her. I'll just start crying and stuff. And, but so she taught me the significance of the relationship so much. And then I got Stella. And, so I've taken the relationship more serious. Like, our time is limited. I really want to care about how you're feeling and stuff. And then when it's like, when you've lost one, it's kind of like you are kind of more giving to the other one. Like, every little peep she makes, jump up, are you okay? Are you okay? And so that's why I just like, have I created a monster? Like, is it me? Have I done something? So that she just whines every time she's uncomfortable. And I'm like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? Because then I'm driving my fucking self crazy, instead of just being like, well, there's so many layers to all this stuff. Everything that you go through, there's like layers. It's not just one thing. There's multiple ways you can look at it, multiple ways you can learn from it, multiple ways to develop from everything you go through. And so, all this stuff, like there's so much stuff with Stella that I had to learn a lot with patience. There's a lot of different lessons that have gone in this relationship. Like I can totally see why this spirit animal relationship is so significant. And then when you go back and you listen to things about the spirit animals, about these animals that we interact with throughout our life that teach us a certain thing that, we can't learn from other people, is that we have to learn from other beings and stuff. So, like where they can kill us, but then you still go through and then you love them. You love their souls. So it's these different relationships that are always occurring. And then we need the animals. So the spirit animal, it seems to be really important to the spirit. It's like another aspect of itself, another way it can feel the world. And so the more you are connected to that, the more you're connected to yourself, if you get what I'm saying. It's like you are expressing through other ways. And so it's weird, there's weird things about how everything is us coming from us. And, but we're all connected. Like all the souls don't come out of my soul, but we're all connected in all the souls. But then like our connection with souls is so much more deeper than we think, because it is like we are the same inside. The only things that are different is perspective, and perspective is all built on experience, and we're all here meant to experience all these different things. So we can develop as many possibilities, as many perspectives as possible, because every little tiny change changes things. And so all experiences have to, it's like an ever expansion, because there's always more possibilities. So it's ever expanding. So we're supposed to all be the expression of all the expansion. We're not supposed to all fit into, like, well, if we all fit into this one thing. No, we're not supposed to do that. That's the opposite of what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to learn how to accept everybody else's expression and be comfortable in our own. So anyways, I don't remember what all I was saying, but the animal stuff is real. They're really in their cycles and their learning and stuff. And it really makes me feel like when I'm doing the Reiki, that she knows that she's supposed to experience this stuff, that it is something that she's supposed to be experiencing, because it's just weird. It's so weird. Even when I did it yesterday, and how she can, no, like I'm not even touching her. I'm not doing anything. You're standing there, you're focused when you're doing it. You're focused on the energy. You, like when I went to the class in the beginning, when they first started doing it, you can take, I think I'd have to remember back, but it's like you take this energy ball and you start switching it back and forth to your hands. You'll feel it. You start feeling it. You'll start feeling this energy, and it feels hot. And so when you start being able to feel it and stuff, then you can start going, I can't remember all the stuff. Like somebody who's like a Reiki master, has been through all the classes and shit, would be able to explain it more. I was with a big group of people meditating, and there was Reiki teachers that were teaching us and stuff, but it wasn't like, a class where we all got certificates or something. It was just like a big group of us that were, and I don't even know how awake people were, now when I look back. It was like, because there's always been this three-dimensional spirituality. It's different than the, it's like the practicing. Oh, well, we'll practice. It's like, well, we'll go to church. We'll practice these things. But it's deeper than just, well, I do my spiritual practices. You got to do more. It's how you live. It's how you perceive everything through your spirit. That's being spiritual, is living through your spirit. So, but there's spiritual practices, yeah. But anyways, in the 3D spirituality, there's been so much about that. But they all talked about aliens and stuff, and there was ships. I was fucked. There was constantly ships above my house and stuff. I was telling people all the time, look at all the fucking, there's spaceships above our house everywhere. That's when I got the telescope so that I could go out and look. And then when I went out and looked, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like energy just up there spinning around. And it's, anyways, you just start seeing all this stuff and putting it together. And the more that you pursue, the more you see, the more pieces that go together. But that was fucking 2016. When I was, like I said, I was getting all sorts of pictures of stuff in the sky. Everything was already three-dimensional to me. When I was walking around, it was already trippy. So, but when I look and understand about this whole awakening thing, then I think, man, were people awake in that group? I don't know. Fuck. But they were obviously in the process. So everybody's in the process. Everybody's in the process. There's things that when you wake up, you start thinking like, oh my gosh, I already knew that when I was like 10 years old. It's like we've been being urged to wake up throughout our lives because of this giant transition. So this life that we're living is totally different than all of our other incarnations. All of our other incarnations weren't like this. This is a completely different thing that is happening, a completely different development that is occurring in all this transition. And, I think you have to be, you know, uh, you have to be established as a soul to go through this. Like, wouldn't be any just like, new soul, like these dark energy. That is a curious thing too, like these dark energy attachment being things, whatever they are, that if they are doing any kind of ascension, like, are they becoming more conscious? Do we transmute energy? Do we, when they're attached to us, if we talk to them, and do they pick up more from us? Are they developing through us? Are we helping them develop? Should we not be pushing them away? Should we just be talking to them and helping them? I don't know. Like, this is also curious. And there's just way more stuff with this sky thing and this space thing. I think that we should just be figuring some big's about to be going down. This whole money thing is going to switch. And hopefully, I hope that guy's right, and it's going to go really quick. And that they're going to start calling people in right away, because, fuck, if they drug it out, it is going to be so much violence, so much chaos. But we still have that part that we're going to go through. That has to be purged out. People's mindless violence and anger and resentment, all that has to be purged out. It can't go forward. So we got to go through that purge. And so, I don't know. I definitely feel like that there's, so much happening. We're like right on the edge. This burning thing, Hawaii, like, and oh my God, are they going to add in more? There's going to be more fucking shit. What was it? God, there's so many different countries. China, like, China's getting fucked. Greece is on fire. Fucking Spain is flooding out. Romania is getting this, whatever the hell is coming out of their skies that are beating, like, they look like giant mud balls, like giant hail that is mud, that is as big as a softball. And they're just smashing on cars, smashing cars. Like, you couldn't be outside. It would just fucking kill you. I'd just smash you in the head if it's smashing a car. And so much more leaking out all the time with the technology and people realizing, we're being microwaved, or they're using frequencies on us. You can see the frequencies up in the clouds, the way the clouds are moving, the way that they develop patterns and shit. Like, everybody is catching on and seeing. And so the awakening part is really, moving fast, where people are just waking up, more and more and more and more and more things. And so, that is, when all that just switches, and it's going to be, we got the fucking so much shit, because the government and the money, that is the biggest things. And then it's going to be medical, everything is going to go down. So, we'll just, we're right on the edge. And it's all the stuff is for this big change, this big priority change, this big transfer over to this other realm, into these other realms, into this other state of being. So it's all this evolution of people. So, you gotta, you can do whatever, you feel motivated to do. I just really recommend you just to, through all the stuff, to just keep working on getting to your communication to your guides, because then you'll get so much more sense of what you're asking and stuff, what you're trying to figure out. And it is a challenge to get through all of that noise, I would imagine, for people who've never tried it before. But just keep working on that. Just anything that you can work on that's working on you and your development, in your skills and stuff. And, you can work on that kinetic thing. And I was even wondering, I wonder if that is going to be, that we have to learn about the more respectful of energy, because it's not about this, forcing it. That's where all these people, even with their ideas of manifesting and stuff, it's all about this controlling energy and making it do this stuff. That's, energy is energy. It's like, you can't just force it. You got to go into harmony with it. You got to harmonize with it. And so, I don't know. I just was thinking it's weird because all of this stuff, like, "Wah," and moving this stuff is like, it's kind of aggressive towards the energy. And is that really like where we're headed? This aggression kind of thing? I don't know. I had seen this little girl a long while ago in her videos, and they blew everybody's mind, anybody who's seen them, because she's just sitting there at this bar all the time talking to her dad. So it was like he's standing there feeding them cereal or something and talking to his kids. And this one little girl, she's just always, she doesn't have to touch shit. She wants her cup and it's way across the counter. She'll just put her hand out and the cup slides over into her hand and she takes a drink. And it's trippy. So sure, her stuff is like all natural, but see, she's not like, ah. No, she just is. And then it is there's a difference. And so while you're learning that stuff, just keep in mind all of the things that you're wanting to learn. It's not about mastering. It's not like about these people. Well, I'm better than nature. I'm better than God. I can, I can make it do what I want. That's what they're trying to do. We are going, the shift is going into harmony. It's going into like that girl wants her cup, and so she doesn't have to reach over and grab it. She just beckons her cup to come to her hand so she can get a drink. She didn't sit there, or any of that stuff. So anyways, it's just ways to look at things and to think about things. Because it does seem like a lot of people think, like becoming a witch and becoming in charge of the energy. And yeah, that's stuff that was learned a long time ago when there was witches and stuff that were using the energy and not using it for good practices and learned how to manipulate energy. We're moving out of the manipulation of energy and moving into harmony with energy, understanding we're energy and that we can be in harmony with the energy. So it's it's like an evolution. It's a different way of seeing things, a different way of looking at things, a different way of participating with things. And so anyways, while you're working on you, just keep that in mind throughout your development. Is everything is about going into harmony. It's not this aggression. It's not this aggressive way. It's this calm way, just like going through the party with all the noise and all the craziness and all the people trying to lure you and stuff. Then you get to, the outdoors, to the barbecue, back to the backyard where all of the calmness and the grandparents and stuff, like that's the energy. That's the energy that we're moving to. We're moving out of this chaos and manipulation and anger and all of the toxicity, all of the loudness, and we're moving back to the calmness and peace of mind and mindful and, speaking directly, being compassionate, not just trying to spit your words to hurt somebody because you got your feelings hurt, but to be honest, so that other people have opportunity to grow, so other people get an opportunity to see themselves. And then when you are having someone show you yourself, to not be wounded, we can look at ourselves through someone else's eyes. Okay, that's how you see me, and sometimes it's going to hurt because it's not how we see ourselves. And then it's up to you to decide. Definitely you don't want to be going through life trying to please everybody else. Well, I want to be whatever you want me to be. You don't want to be like that. You got to be true to yourself. You got to stand in your own. And, but it's always this balancing. That's the thing. So even if you're off, too far over on this one, too far, you just are constantly, it's just a balancing. And some days you may be off, and then you just got to notice and pull yourself back into balance. It's all just continue. And just like when you're steering down the car, it's not like you can just put it and then just let it go and it'll just keep going. No, you've got to steer. You got to go through different terrain. You got to go up and down. So you're the same thing. You've got to keep the vehicle in alignment. So it's part of you, the soul, using the vehicle to experience. So the vehicle has its own things. It's got hormones, it's got a metabolism, it's got process. It's got all this shit going on that you have to, it's part of the experience, but you have to also learn how to run the whole thing, how to manage it. So anyways, hopefully I'm making sense. I just feel like I'm just rambling and rambling. And let's see what time it is. It's 5:22. So it's 5:22. And so I don't know. Today's gonna be just like yesterday. Yesterday, what did I do? Yesterday was weird. I don't even remember what the fuck I did. I didn't crochet. I didn't even turn the TV on. What was it? I think maybe later in the evening, maybe I did turn something on. I don't know. I have no idea. Do I just sit here? Do I just sit here and just in my own mind? I don't fucking know. I do know. Oh, yeah, and the weather got so weird. It just poured and poured and poured and poured. And then they have the wind go up. It's like, fuck. The only good thing I swear through all this stuff is that my house is blue. So all this footage I keep seeing, it's like, okay, well, they're not going to be able to burn my house down. I mean, I don't know if they can burn the roof off, but from the footage I'm seeing, it's really a good thing to have all these trees around me and for my house to be blue. So, and it's really weird is how many throughout this time I would get these weird flashes of all my neighborhood being gone except my house. It's like, ugh, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And it was weird too is, so, my neighbor was cutting down those trees. And so one thing too is he went and he bought one of those great big giant ladders. And so when I saw him getting it off his truck, it came into my mind, well, I could say, oh, you could have just used mine. But then luckily my guys step in and they're like, no, what we want is independence. You don't want somebody to be dependent on you to always need your ladder. No, have them go get their own ladder. Good, go get your own ladder. It's all about independence. Why should you have to be at my beckon over using my ladder? So anyways, and then he had this other guy come and help him. And I wasn't sitting out there all the time. And I've got all this interference. I've got the trampoline and they've got all these wood things. Like they've got all this stuff up that they've blocked across. And so when the stuff was falling and then you hear yelling and all this stuff, like you can't see, it's still very distorted. But when I looked over there, it looked like all this stuff was going on inside their driveway, which I know that some of it was. But then when we went and walked yesterday with Stella, it was like, those trees aren't even in their fence. They're on the other side of their fence. How did it keep looking like they were in their yard when it wasn't? Those trees looked like it was in there. It was weird. It was really, that was another thing that was tripping me out. I was like, how did that look like they were in their driveway and they were all the way over here? That is so weird. There keeps being all these things that keep happening there. I'm like, okay, did this really just happen? Or did I just jump from a different reality? Like, I don't know. There keeps being weird shit that keeps happening. Just yesterday on that Burning Man thing, when all these videos were all seeing this one thing, and all of a sudden it just switched. And all of a sudden it was all these people like, no, we're just having a good time. And there's no Ebola and stuff. And it's like, still, I mean, I don't know. I'm still suspicious of them to come out and keep saying that one sickness because they're trying to do everything they can to, and they can take that one sickness. Like they couldn't do it over the whole. They couldn't release it in mass. Like if they did release that, they would have to contain those people because all the people would be dead in like 5 days, and then. Because that's how fast, like they would, I mean, the whole world would just keel over. Like whatever, and I don't know what all they did to make that one so bad, but it's fast. And so the only way that they would really be able to do it is to isolate and attack to create fear. And then once they create the fear, then they've got the whole purpose of like, well, we've got to quarantine it. Well, we've got to do this. Well, no, and don't get, and, with the Dovik, I mean, I always thought that was ridiculous. Anyways, it's a goddamn flu, you guys. It's a fucking flu. Like, people who die from the flu are sick. It's like you don't die from the flu unless you're really sick. This other thing, like, this is a whole nother ballgame. if that's really what they're going to release out, and if they really are going to contain and, take out a bunch of people just to scare us. So then we all, well, we gotta lock down. We gotta do this. Like, there's so many things, because it's like they want us to come at them so that they can call martial law. Like, all these things, it's like it is such this chess game, and each area is different. And then you got the fucking FEMA just zooming in on everything. Oh, they're right there. So yeah, they could totally go into any town and all of a sudden say, well, we've had an outbreak here, and we got to quarantine them. And then they can fucking go in and gas a whole goddamn town. And I had seen something too where somebody was saying that is when everything was changing, was after Hiroshima. Then that's when a bunch of changes started happening. I don't know, once they could see what weapons they could take us out. But I still say this reset started somewhere in the late 1800s. And so the people who were in it in the beginning aren't here anymore. And there could have been, people from the other one. Like, they didn't wipe out the whole world when that reset happened. They did a bunch of fires and burned things down. They did a bunch of food destruction. They did a bunch of stuff to just wipe everything free. Then I'm sure once certain places started developing, then they could go into places, because then they continued, attacking the miners, attacking the mountain people, attacking the tribes. It's always been, to try and herd us all into their smart cities. It's all about them and their control over us. But we gotta remember, we're animals and we're free. I don't want to be contained. I don't want to live in a fucking zoo. Fuck that. So anyways, I'm done talking. I'll talk to you later. Bye.